Today on Rappler. Advocates and some lawyers urge the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to livestream hearings. Senator Chis Escudero says witnesses who tagged him in the flood control scandal are following Martin Romualdez's script. Senator Escudero files a disbarment complaint against a lawyer over online posts. Maynard Ngu, the alleged bagman of Chis Escudero, resigns from a property firm. And U.S. President Donald Trump secures Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's support for a U.S. peace proposal to end the war in Gaza. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure says it is aware of public clamor to livestream its hearings and will discuss how to proceed. ICI Executive Director Brian Keith Hosaka was earlier quoted as saying in a GMA News report, "The ICI wants to avoid trial by publicity and will not allow it to be used for any political leverage or agenda." The policy not to livestream ICI hearings has drawn criticism from transparency advocates and some lawmakers. People's Budget Coalition co-convener Ken Abante says transparency is key for Filipinos to trust a new body investigating one of the country's biggest corruption scandals. Abante acknowledges the risk of trial by publicity, but argued this can be avoided with disciplined hearings. Social Watch Philippines co-convener Jessica Jack Reyes Cantos says shielding hearings from scrutiny could fuel suspicion that the process is being controlled or sanitized. Meantime, mamamayang Liberal Representative Laila De Lima says Filipinos are not only watching the accused but also those conducting investigations. Senator Chis Escudero accuses Leyte 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez of orchestrating efforts to implicate him and other senators in the flood control corruption scandal. In a privileged speech on Monday, September 29, Escudero claimed that witnesses' testimonies followed a script allegedly crafted by Romualdez. This to divert attention away from House lawmakers and the, quote, guilty parties in the corruption scheme.
Isang tao lamang, Ginoong Pangulo, ang nasa likod ng script at sarswelang ito. Siya ang dahilan ng kaguluhan, pagkakaaway-away, pagkakawatak-watak na ngayon yumayanig sa ating bayan, maprotektahan lamang ang sarili niya.
Escudero also accused the media of not mentioning Romualdez's name in the flood control mess. Rappler and other news outlets have written stories about Romualdez amid the issue. In a statement, Romualdez says Escudero chose to deflect instead of address accusations against him directly. He adds, quote, "What we heard was not an expose, but a DDS or Duterte diehard supporters script, the same recycled accusations we have long seen on troll pages and social media posts." Senator Chis Escudero files a disbarment complaint against lawyer Jesus Falsis III. Escudero alleges Falsis posted malicious and defamatory remarks against him on social media. Escudero compiled Falsis' posts from July to September that contained criticisms of the senator's actions regarding the national budget and the flood control projects. The lawyer allegedly called Escudero the worst Senate president in history and bulok na keso, among others. He also posted questions about the wealth of Escudero's wife, actress and socialite Heart Evangelista. In a viral X post, Falsis raised the topic of Nepo wives, wondering how Evangelista could afford her lavish lifestyle shown on social media despite not being listed as a top taxpayer. Following Escudero's complaint, Falsis hit back at the senator in a post on X, asking who should be disbarred, someone who is angry about corruption or the politicians accused of receiving kickbacks and making budget insertions. Maynard Ngu resigns as an independent director of the real estate firm Altos Property Ventures Incorporated, the company said in a disclosure to the Philippine Stock Exchange on Tuesday, September 30. He resigned due to personal reasons. Ngu is also the head of Cosmic Technologies, maker of Cherry mobile phones. This days after Ngu was tagged as the alleged bagman for Senator Chis Escudero in the multi-billion peso infrastructure scam. He was named by former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, who said he and Ngu are friends who go way back. Bernardo recounted an instance in which he allegedly delivered 160 million pesos in kickbacks to Ngu meant for Senator Escudero. Based on the senator's statement of contributions and expenditures, Ngu donated 30 million pesos to Escudero's 2022 senatorial campaign. Ngu also has at least 2 businesses with Escudero's wife, fashion influencer and actress Heart Evangelista. President Donald Trump secures Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's backing on Monday, September 29, for a U.S.-sponsored peace proposal to end the war in Gaza. But questions loom over whether Hamas will accept the plan. The White House released a 20-point document that called for an immediate ceasefire, an exchange of hostages, a staged Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, Hamas disarmament, and a transitional government. The new transitional government will be called the Board of Peace, surprisingly headed by two familiar political figures, former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair and US President Donald Trump. In recent weeks, reports of Blair's involvement raised eyebrows over the history of British imperialism in the region and his involvement in the invasion of Iraq. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Raptor's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.